Is it on?
Yep.
According to the algorithm, ever since TikTok started, the internet has kind of gone to... I don't want to say the word. It's not because my mom is in close proximity, but you've obviously seen that the internet has kind of gone downhill. People have been curious about cancel culture, the anti-SJW movement, all that political American crap, as well as the dominating rise of the left, which furthermore triggers the right to become even more douchey. Or I'm gonna say this right here. The internet's a pile of turd slop. And was it your fault why the internet is a pile of turd slop? No, you're just simply curious. They say curiosity killed the cat, but did it kill the internet user too? Maybe it did. Dying is entirely in your option.
What are we making?
Let me. Oh. And at the end of the day, you end up hitting yourself. But not me. Why don't I go and spread some love by showing you how you can love yourself with a good old packet of soup. Ramen. Noodles, I don't know. Now, typically if you watch regular old traditional Japanese how to make noodle guides, they typically start off with a batter, make it the Italian style where you hump it for 2 minutes straight, then you flop it onto the floor and then you start stepping over it. Then you pick up the batter, put it in a plastic bag, and then get into smaller noodle-shaped components like a baker. And then that goes into the pan or fry pan thingamabob. And then they tell you to treat it so delicately because otherwise it's gonna break. But thanks to the Industrial Revolution, we don't have to do that anymore. Savory broth and premium bonito blend. I got this off of Kohl's. Now typically in a pressed fashion, you boil the water first, then you put in the thing and then you stick it in the microwave. I don't know. My way, my style, that's not really how I do it. You put the noodles in the bowl first while it's hard. Then you fill it up with water. It doesn't matter what water it is. You don't care about your health. I mean, it's tap water, but the germs die when you start boiling it, I think. I overworked myself a bit today, and my brain isn't really working and it's perfect. Which makes this a bit of a sacrifice. A personal sacrifice of my mental health for your mental health. Let the words of brave old Jimmy be heard. Hit that like subscribe button or whatever, I don't know. The special thing about oil is if you come and zoom in closer to the, yeah, thanks mom. This is an oil packet. You see those small two bubbles here, and here, and here? And how it moves around? That happens because oil is, I think it's because it's less dense than water, meaning it comes to the top. It's a basic science. Certain liquids have certain densities, which makes them go up above each other. And that's why bubbles go up when you fart underwater. It's not because God hates you and they want you to be embarrassed, but it's because it's science, and science the one who hates you. If you want to drink oil, that's fine, but make sure you don't end up like that kid from the Junji Ito story, with his face covered with acne, which is kind of false. It's just a bit of a, it's just there to make you uncomfortable. Acne is actually caused by touching your face a lot without washing your hands. See, if you take time to lick your hand and it tastes salty, not salt, but salt water salt, that means there's a lot of germs on your hands. I tend to put in soap first so the hands are nice and semen covered. Then you turn it on like that. I don't really know what it does, but it makes the thing not wet and it makes the thing covered in soap. You don't have to do it thoroughly. In high school they tell you, wash your hands thoroughly, look out for the dry spots, remember the fingernails. You're gonna catch melanoma and all your guts are gonna go out your butt. And you're gonna die due to a single fart. Soup is acquired through mixing herbs and spices with water, specifically boiling water. Noodle companies tend to provide you free of charge with seasonings and oils and special ointments, which allows you to make the most perfect bowl of ramen. But what they didn't tell you is you can add your own things. For starters, herbs. Now, basil leaves, in case you don't know, is what makes tea smell like tea. Yes, if you smell that, you know. Smells like tea. No, seriously, do smell it. Yep, that's right, you just pop it in there. That's now you have tea flavored ramen. Just make sure not to add too much herbs, or else the food's just gonna go to hell. Same thing can be said with garlic, but don't add too much garlic. Or maybe garlic's more for frying and rather than boiling. Then there's of course salt. Everybody knows salt. Add a bit of that, but not too much of it. Salt is the difference between a good meal and a meh meal. But obviously, they didn't ever tell you about adding sugar to your meals. Most certainly not. Let's just put the sugar in there. I mean, you don't care about your health. I mean, what's gonna hurt with adding sugar in it? I mean, you already have a high sugar diet. You obviously eat a crap ton of candy. This is what fast food companies add to their meals, so they get to be addictive. It's gonna make you happier and it's gonna prevent withdrawal symptoms. Sugar withdrawal symptoms. I'm not sure most people know how to hold chopsticks, and I'm sure most people don't really care. I mean, with the rise of degenerate Asian culture, majority of Asian people end up also being depressed. I didn't know this, but I recently learned that a lot more to life than white kids who are addicted to dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets and dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets only. But they're willing to eat anything that's dinosaur-shaped and made of chicken nuggets. But I realize there's more people on this planet than just white kids who are addicted to dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. So that's why in typical my own fashion, I like to mix and match. I like to mix and match certain... what I have? Oh, I don't have much. We don't got much here. Well, we do have celery sticks. Now we can't forget the most important ingredient of them all. Pork belly sliced. It's like bacon for Asian people. Now, you may be wondering, this is not bacon shaped at all. That's because they're cut into multiple different pieces. Japan doesn't value their women, but they do value their knives. That's why Japan always ends up having insanely sharp knives due to the laws basically allowing knives to be super sharp. Mixture, I added the extra packet. Those are scallops, I think. And those are, what are they calling them? Spring onions? Yeah, those are supposed to be added once the food is done to make it look savory and delicious. I tend to put them in there. I don't know why. Alright, it's just don't force a habit. Now, there are obviously going to be bugs in this. So I will do everybody a favor and I will wash it. Yeah, sure, let's go with 2 celery sticks. Now, celery is special for the fact that it is very crunchy. It's nothing but crunch and an awful aftertaste. Now, certain countries have knife laws. If a knife reaches or exceeds a certain level of sharpness, it comes and gets confiscated by the police. If a knife that exceeds a certain level of sharpness is gifted to you by a male, the police is going to come and confiscate it. But that doesn't stop you from being able to sharpen your own knives. I don't really know how this works or how it does, but you can see the cuts and scratches against the knife. That's all through this thing's doing. I don't know, it makes me feel like a chef when I do this. Just make sure to watch the knife after, because there are tiny specks of lead that comes in. Because sharpening the knife, it makes the knife sharp, but it takes away the metal. But a dying sharp knife is better than a living dull knife. But thanks to an extra sharp knife, I'm having a lot less issues with cutting the... Well, looks like we got a whole bunch of celery added into there. Hopefully it'll smell as good as it's gonna taste, because that celery taste never goes away. And if it's still wet, and I mean, if this thing's lasted this long and it's still wet, I think it's, well, it's the best. I don't care about it. What I care about is getting that crunch I want. It doesn't always have to be about flavor. It can be about texture, and the saltiness, and the sourness, and the sweetness. Think of it, something crunchy yet sweet. Would you wanna eat that? Something salty yet crunchy. Would you want to eat that? Of course you would. Fried fish. But here comes the part everybody's been looking forward to, the protein. Oh god, they don't smell very good. Okay, maybe I should add in all 3.
How old are they?
They're old enough to smell. Yeah, I don't care about the date.
I don't.
You're depressed cooking, Mom. I'm here to educate. It's a sacrifice on my behalf. I've had this multiple times before. This is usually made out of a very, very tough material. And thanks to me sharpening the knife, I was able to cut through this. The reason why Asian people eat with chopsticks and white people eat with fork and knife is based off of cultural differences when it comes to cooking. See, example, in a country like Japan, where the knife laws are so goddamn free, it's become a bit of a problem because people are out there stabbing each other with ease. It originates from chefs originally making their entire purpose about cutting fish and pork and cow and yakitori open. White people, on the other hand, you just cut a slab of meat, stick it on a thing and cut it into smaller pieces. Basically, white people have knives so the customers can do the cutting themselves. And now with all this... now with all this meat... meat contains a lot of protein, which makes it good for muscle regrowth. I don't think meat contains a lot of fat, which is good for energizing said muscle. See, if you're looking to get a burst of energy before you do exercise, I insist you eat a high-fat diet, which basically puts a lot of energy into your body. Of course, it's supposed to be exchanged for muscle mass, or else it's just going to be stored in the fatty tissue. But of course, I think that makes you healthy fat. Take, for example, something like peanuts. Peanuts contain, well, not peanuts, but nuts in general. They contain a lot of fat. That's why peanut butter is good for breakfast, because it's supposed to energize you. While meat, on the other hand, it's there for regenerative purposes. See, muscle is made out of fibers that constrict and expand, I guess. And they're made out of blood. They're like smaller blood vessels. Now, when you put those muscles and blood vessels under stress, they tend to burst and get snapped, causing a burning sensation in whatever part of your body you're either stretching or exercising. Now, most people believe that muscle gain is caused by hard work and punishing said muscles, which is not the fact. Muscle gain is caused by regenerating those muscles through eating a lot of meat and sleeping a lot. Unfortunately, media does not portray rest days and break times very good. No, because most people who want to gain muscles, who want to get, quote, a life, they believe that it's caused by hard work. It's never about hard work. It's about kind work. It's about being kind to yourself. Of course, you, being of course a very deep internet user, you obviously forget about what kindness is. No, you only know the purpose of nice. That mask you put on your face to make yourself look presentable enough to people. By sticking a thing on top of it allows buildup of steam from the boiled water, causing the steam to burn the flesh. If you ever had a steam burn, you obviously know how this works. But depending on whether you are high testosterone depressed or low testosterone depressed, which are two different ways of depression, how hormones impact growing youths and adults. Obviously, I'm assuming you're a teenager watching this. When you become a teenager, you get used to these new emotions and hormones such as depression and testosterone. And throughout your teenage life, you are forced to deal with those hormones and emotions caused by your growth, which is what makes depression most prominent in teenagers, because it's all equal learning experience. Oh god, I don't think this is ever going to quench somebody's hunger. I don't know, man.
You done this before?
Have I done this before? I've done this before. Maybe it needs more, it needs more oil. It's not gonna make it any healthier, but it's going to make it, well, it's gonna make it look tasty, I think. And I don't say I think confidently. But I think teenage depression also introduces you to your new best friend that you can't ever escape. That voice in your head that constantly doubts every single thing or action you make. I don't really know what it's called, but it's called anxiety, or your demons, or whatever. And it's what prevents you from doing most, activities a normal person would be able to do. It's always in your head and you always end up talking to it. And it's always there to insult you if you're at a low mental point. There is no victory. The voice never disappears. The only way you can get rid of it is simply through getting happier, I guess. Unfortunately, getting happy is a thing that you are up to. Well, of course drugs can help you, but It's up to you if you want to be genuinely happy. One of those important steps of being genuinely happy is a good diet and well, I'm not saying plenty of sunshine. Of course, despite of course vitamin D being a detrimental part to human society, I'm considering this my breakfast. And because it's what's that? It's night time outside. Yes, I think of the evening as the morning and the morning as the evening. And I'm assuming you do too. It never concerns my parents because since I dropped out, I don't have to like be awake. I don't know.
Sure you do.
Yeah. You ever thought about taking a knife and dipping it in flammable liquid and then setting that knife on fire so it becomes imbued with a thermal enchantment? Asian styles of cooking, particularly that of noodles, is basically doing that same thing but with water. It's essentially just imbuing whatever cooked inside the flavored water with flavored water, making the flavor more water-based than fire-based. I don't know. I don't know. I make so many videos, my brain is gone. You're in charge of deciding what the flavor is supposed to be by adding random spices and random sauces. This is sriracha sauce. It's like hot sauce with more flavor. My god, that was the most unsavory. Okay, no, never mind. It was because it didn't have it fully open. There are also certain cube-shaped spices, which is basically spices in the shape of a cube packet. It's to help with storage. With these cube-based spices, you have an ability to either squeeze them into spicing and just... This is beef flavored spice. It makes it flavored like beef. And this, I don't know what it reads because I don't speak Thai. The only thing I know is of this letter, which means it belongs to somebody or something. What I do know is it enhances the flavor of certain beef-based products by enhancing the flavor. I don't know, it makes it taste Asian. Speaking of making things taste Asian, we have chopped chives. If you're looking to make something smell Asian, apparently chopped chives is the way to go. Unfortunately, I'm not recording this with a smellinator, so I can't really pick up the smell of what's going on, but my point is, by adding spices, you can change the flavor. And now, look at the meat. Look at what it's done. Look at what's happened to it. Is that savory for you? It's not savory at all. I mean, if you zoom in close enough, you can see small bubbles appearing next to the rice. No, not rice. It's not rice, it's noodles. That's acquired through the oil effect. Keep in mind, oils aren't healthy for you. Okay, okay, well, I think I overdid it with the spices. It's all brown and red. Oh. No imbued taste. No imbued taste at all. It just tastes like pork. It just tastes like pork belly, which I recommend though. Now time for the initial noodle test. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, no, thanks for helping me record, Mom. I'll be doing everything myself now from now on. Now, if you don't live alone, you obviously never thought you could be able to do this ever in your life, but I have myself a pot, I have myself the pot of food, and I have myself a bowl. Which means if I don't have the appetite to eat every single of the pieces of crap that I put into the bowl and cooked and mixed into the ultimate mega turd, I can be able to transfer this into, oh, that's nasty. Oh, God. Oh, it makes an awful sound. It's still attached to it. Oh, no. Oh, that's nasty. I didn't even get a single, I didn't even get a single piece of meat in there. Oh well, was I looking to make a recovery? No. Now, typically, when it comes to eating noodles or ramen, you'd obviously be expecting yourself to use chopsticks, but in reality, all you need is a fork. Alright? I mean, the voice in your head, it does disguise itself as an angry, oddly patriotic Asian guy who constantly yells at you in a foreign language because you're not using the catfucker 9000 method to eating your ramen. And I simply say, to hell with that, you're depressed. None matters about how you eat because none matters about your life. And that was said by you in your head. All right, I'm not taking the blame. I'm just simply relaying what's being said in your head. Like a walk in the dark woods, listening to death metal, constantly talking about how you're going to die. Shove your fork in there, spin it around, and boom, you got yourself some weeb spaghetti. Oh, actually, that's a good tech. Oh yeah, oh god, that tastes good. But it's hot. It may consist of an unhealthy amount of oils or sugars. It may consist of uncut vegetables. It may consist of rotten pork. But at the end of the day, it's a sad meal for a sad man. Yes, I call it kill yourself ramen. You don't have to copy the recipe specifically to make kill yourself ramen. And there's no specific or distinct way of consuming kill yourself ramen. As long as you feel fulfilled at the end of the day, that's good for me. Maybe make me feel fulfilled. Maybe hit that like button.